Leslie here. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I actually sat down and chatted, and that's what I wanted to do in this video. Happy New Year! Oh my god, it's 2024. What is going on? Life is just moving way too quickly for me. But I thought it'd be a good time to just sit down and think about all the makeup favourites from 2023, everything I've enjoyed, and I tried to limit this to the ones that I've actually been using and reaching for all the time. I tried a lot of new launches last year, a lot of products for the first time that have been around for a while as well. And there is quite a lot of products, so I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as possible, but it's going to be a long one. Settle in, buckle up. It's going to be a long ride. So I'm going to try and keep this loosely in categories, running from, you know, how I would start my routine to the end, so it makes some sort of sense and it's not just me rambling on about my favourite products. So let's start with primers. As someone with oily skin, I really should be wearing a primer every day, or every day that I wear makeup. I kind of don't, but if I do, one that I've really enjoyed this year, well, last year, is the Milk Makeup Pore Eclipse Mattifying Primer. It's really good for oily combo skin. It just helps your makeup like grip on. The Hydro Grip that they have is really good, but that's more for if your skin is dry or just needs a bit more moisture, and it just kind of gives that nice blurring effect. Locks everything on. So yeah, a really good primer. Moving swiftly onto base, because this is the product I enjoy using a lot. I love playing with different foundations. The tried and true winner every year is the Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation. I have used this consistently since it launched in 2018. The shade I have of this is 4WO, so it's warm olive, and it is literally a yellow olive, and it's just so beautiful, the shade. Everything else I have just isn't this undertone. Like, I have a couple things that are close, but they usually pull slightly too much to one side, so slightly too pink or slightly too neutral, which can look a bit grey on me. I've heard a lot of people say that it's dry, so I think it depends on your skin type. As an oily person, this is great for me because it doesn't slip and slide around, it stays put. I like that it's this kind of like medium buildable finish. This is just great if you have oily combo skin, so yeah, this is always my top. And then other foundations that I've enjoyed that are more so new discoveries because they're new launches. So the Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation. These names are always too long, I don't think I'm going to say them fully, but everything will be listed in the description. This one, the shade 4N1 Ginger, absolutely gorgeous. It's a very slippy foundation, so it doesn't sit on my skin very well. It just kind of goes everywhere. But if you want like a really glowy, beautiful, like lit from within foundation, perfect. A similar kind of vibe is the Shiseido Revital Skin Glow Foundation. I mean, this is stunning. It's very liquidy, so again, it doesn't really sit on my skin very well. This is definitely if you've got drier skin, but it is such a beautiful finish. It's really gorgeous. So I'd say with these two, I tend to mix them with other foundations. Very rarely wear them by themselves. And then something else that I like is the very Valentino Light Perfecting. I don't know, these have all got really long names, so I'm not going to say them all anymore, but this is a really nice foundation from Valentino. It's just gorgeous, but it's a little bit more on the pink side. It's better when I have a slight tan because I'm like golden, but I'm not as yellow. I tend to go a bit more pink when I tan. Last one, more like an honourable mention, is the Prada Reveal Skin Optimizing Foundation. This is such a gorgeous texture. It looks so beautiful on. I feel like I've said that for every single foundation so far, but it looks stunning on. But I had to buy this in about 5 different shades to find my shade. I found it really tricky to find my shade, but it's still a beautiful foundation, so I thought I would mention it because there was one point where I was using it all the time. But the most consistent one, the one that I would wear on its own the most, is the Dior one, and that is why it's my favourite. So concealers is a similar story. As I struggle with bases, concealers, it's just like almost like another level of trying to find one that works. They all never do. I did buy several of the Gucci concealer. 37W is the one I use the most, so it is more on the lighter side, but I like this kind of like a creamy concealer. It's actually quite lightweight. I wouldn't say it's like thick or even high coverage, given that it's concealer. I think it's quite medium and like buildable, but I would tend to put that under my eyes just to brighten. My absolute favourite, the one I probably should have started with, is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter concealer. I was going to say foundation. So this shade is Toasted Almond, so it's either this or I want to say Butter Pecan or something like that is my favourite. The one thing I don't like about this concealer is the packaging. The packaging always leaks. so I don't tend to carry it about. I usually have to use this at home and then leave it. It's just such a shame because this is probably the concealer that actually matches my skin the most. It's really nice creamy formula, really high coverage. Yeah, nice concealer. One I went back to recently is the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer. It's very creamy and thick. If you have a dark mark, this will cover it. The only thing is I have got completely the wrong shade. The shade I've got is Biscuit, which is more of like a pink undertone. Anywhere that sells Nars, they have like 5 shades out. They just don't have much counter space at all. So trying to get my shade has just been tricky because I just want to see it in person, but I'm gonna have to order online. I feel like I use a lot of different products, but I'm only gonna mention one contour slash bronzer. It's not bronzer, but it's basically the Fenty Beauty Matchsticks. This is the shade Truffle. I have tried amber, amber suede, suede-ish, like all the different shades that they have that are meant to be for medium and lighter skin, and for some reason I just don't like them. I think it's because they pull more cool toned, more pinky. This Truffle shade is like a neutral brown. It's such a beautiful brown. So it's not meant for my skin tone. It's definitely meant for a darker skin tone, more of like a medium deep, I would say, because it is quite a dark brown, but it's such a beautiful neutral brown. And this is such a versatile shade. I chuck it everywhere, all over my face. I use it as contour. If I feel like it's too dark, I'll literally put in a bit of my concealer, like a dot on my concealer, a dot on my foundation, brighten it up a little bit. Obviously because my foundation tends to have like a warmer tone to it, it might make this into more of like a bronzer shade because it's made it more warm. So yeah, this to me is just such a versatile product. I love it all over my face. Even when I was on a shoot recently, a makeup artist, because Fenty still doesn't have lip liner, why, I don't know, but she actually used this as lip liner. I've used other bronzers, but I'm just not going to mention them because I feel like I mix and match between a lot, but the one that's always consistent is this. So with highlighters, again, I kind of mix and match, but they all kind of look very similar. So the one I use the most is by Nudestix, so it's the Nudies Glow in Hey Honey. And it's just this gorgeous, balmy, gold colour. You literally just need a dot of it. So I don't really tend to use highlighter anywhere other than the tops of my cheekbones and my brow bone. And 2 other products that give that kind of vibe but are more liquidy is the Vive Skin Dew. This is just gorgeous. It's like beautiful gold colour. It's still kind of got that balmy texture, blends beautifully into the skin. It just looks so beautiful. I said beautiful twice, but it's gorgeous. It's really nice. I need to find some more words to describe things, but this is so, I was gonna say beautiful again. It's really stunning. And another one I really like is the Westman Atelier Super Loaded. It's really easy to squeeze out too much. Even if I'm mixing this with foundation, and it's so beautiful mixed with foundation, you need the tiniest amount. Last one I'm going to mention is by Milk Makeup, their highlighter in the shade Lit. I have the mini one now that I got sent recently, but prior to that I had the big chunky one, and that thing just never ended. I don't know if they've changed the formula, and it's making me think they have because I couldn't get it for so long. It was sold out every time I looked. The texture of this is more like powdery, but before it used to be really creamy and balmy, kind of similar to the Nudestix Nudies Glow. So I need to get the bigger one and see if it's still the same, because I don't know if it's just because it's a mini, maybe it's a slightly different texture, but this feels completely different on the skin. But it still gives a really nice glow. I feel like it's not as intense as it used to be before. Still really beautiful highlighter, and I guess a lot more natural if you just want that little subtle pop of something, and then people look at you and they're like, what have you got on? But they're not really sure. Blush I'm going to speed through because I use different blushes all the time, but I feel like I haven't been totally satisfied with most blush formulas. One I really like at the moment is Giorgio Armani, the Luminous Silk Blush. This I have in a few shades and it's just gorgeous. I'm really new to Armani Beauty. I knew everyone really obsessed over the foundation and the concealer, but I had never really been on the hype, or just I didn't understand it because I'd never tried a lot of the products. I'd tried maybe like a couple of the lip products. I just love how it like melts into the skin. Another one I really like are by Nudestix. They have so many shades. This one's technically a bronzer, but it's got more of a pink tone, so I wouldn't call this a bronzer. Okay, so moving on to brows. The bane of my life because I hate filling in my brows, but I have to because I have such gappy, sparse brows that look weird if I don't fill them in. So something I use all the time, I try and use different products, but I always go back to it, is the e.l.f. Brow Lift. Pretty affordable, and I use it every day because it's just the best thing to get my hairs like nice and lifted and like set in place. Something that I think is key with this particular product is you do kind of have to work it in, and then I think it helps to either press on the brows or kind of wipe off the excess to get it flat. But yeah, it's such a nice product. I always go back to it, like I said. Something I like for filling them in is the Huda Beauty Bomb Brows Full and Fluffy Fibre Gel. So I have two shades at the moment that I like the most, rich brown and black brown. It just depends what my hair is looking like. It has fibres in the formula and they're like little short hairs. That's what they look like. So it fills them in and it looks quite natural. Two favourite products, yeah. I've tried a lot of brow products, but always end up using those two. Moving on to eyes, I feel like this is going to be a short category because I almost never use eyeshadow, and the reason is because I'm terrible at it. I love eyeliners, but I usually can't be bothered to use them because it takes a little bit more time. The one I use the most is by Emmeline Cosmetics. It's just a brown eyeliner. I think the shade is called Kalahari Brown. I literally just scribble it into my eyes really quickly and that's usually it. If I'm gonna use an eyeshadow, it tends to be brown as well because I tend to just make it a similar colour to my face. I like the Giorgio Armani liquid eyeshadow, so anything I use is usually easy to use, so that's why I like this. What I tend to do almost every day is actually just chuck bronzer or a blush in my eye socket. I didn't do it today, but I did put like a tiny bit of the Fenty Beauty Truffle. Again, that product is versatile. I've put it everywhere and that's kind of what I do and that's it. I will try so many different mascaras because I feel like I'm still kind of on the hunt for the perfect one. There's a lot that I like. I can't remember the names of all these things, but the Dior Overcurl mascara is the one I like the most. Or the Bare Minerals Strength and Length mascara because it does actually grow your lashes whilst you're using it. If I stop using it for a while, I can tell my lashes look shorter. And if you combine this with lash serum in the evening, your lashes just end up crazy long. Another one that I go back to all the time, the Lancome Lash Idol. I don't know if that's how you say it, probably completely wrong. But just a really nice mascara. I really like the brush on this one. Yeah, I like it when it's a mix of something kind of curved and it's got little brush hairs on it. And now for lips, which is my favourite product to use if you guys didn't know already. And this was the trickiest one because I was like, you can't talk about every single lip product that you like because this would be a whole video in itself. So with lip liners, I still have never found the perfect shade. What I ideally want, the Fenty Truffle Matchsticks, I want as a lip liner. Please someone give that to me as a lip liner. Every brown I find is usually grey or really red. But one I do really like that comes pretty close is MAC Cork. And I know everyone and their mum must know this lip liner, but it's the one I use all the time. Something that's more of a recent favourite are the Lisa Eldridge Enhance and Define lip liners. These are so creamy and beautiful. The way they go on, the shade I like the most is this one, Decade. It's just gorgeous. This is what I've got on today. You can't really tell because I kind of just put it around my lips and like blended it a little bit. The Dior lip glow oils, definitely my favourite. Balmy, glossy, glowy, oily. They're not oily. Just a nice all-rounder product that you can just throw on at any time. And the shades I love the most, Mahogany and Rosewood. I do really like the original universal shade. I mean, they look quite pigmented in the actual container, but when you put them on, I don't think you'd really notice the colour. But yeah, they're gorgeous. Mahogany is probably my absolute favourite if I had to pick because there's a little bit more colour than the others, but again, nothing overpowering. I'm wearing it now. So yeah, really subtle, and the texture, it's just unmatched. I've tried a lot of lip oils, none of them feel like this. I think some come close, but none of them feel like this. If I'm just talking about straight up gloss, I still love the Fenty Gloss Bomb. All you really need is the clear. The ones that are the creams, they are the ones that have a bit more pigment, but otherwise they're all pretty similar apart from the darker shades, and I'd say most of the time I prefer the clear one. This is obviously a new one. I've had so many of this. So shiny, so beautiful. It's kind of like buttery. It's not too sticky. Great formula. I think it's always going to be one of my favourites, but yeah, that's been a favourite for a while. And if we're talking about balmy products, definitely the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. These are so gorgeous. I love these. My favourite one is actually the clear shade, the vanilla one. But I have the shade Brown Sugar and Vanilla Beige. Yes. But yeah, I wish they actually had an even darker one because this doesn't run that dark. Not that they're super pigmented, to be honest. They smell so nice, the texture's beautiful. A really nice balm when you just want like no makeup kind of vibe. The Fenty Icon lip colours are more like an honourable mention because I don't reach for these all the time, but they are so nice to mix with other products or so nice to mix together. Like I often will use the brown one as a lip liner and it's such a weird texture because it's very slippy and it kind of goes everywhere, but it is a gorgeous lip colour and every time I use it or anytime I like mix it with other things, people are always like, what are you wearing? I like it once it's on my mouth, but it can be a bit tricky to apply. And then two actual lipsticks I want to mention. The YSL Slim Glow Matte lipstick. This is just so pretty. It's so nice to apply. Love the packaging, love the formula, love the pigment. Just a nice product. And it's like matte but not too matte. I love that. And the last one is the Giorgio Lip Power Matte. This is just, again, really nice formula. Doesn't feel too drying on. Applies like a dream. And I love all the colours that they have. I need to actually get a couple more, but I don't know if I can justify more lip products. But if I buy any more, it's definitely going to be of the YSL and the Giorgio Armani. I really like these two products. If I do wear any powder, which I don't do often, is the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I've got the shade Translucent Honey. That is my favourite. I've tried the deep, it's a little bit too deep. The translucent, like original, is that little bit too, I mean it is translucent, but it feels like it's a little bit too cool. Whereas this has got that warmth to it, so I just love this one. I don't really use powder that much, and if I do, it's usually for things like this. It's usually on camera. It's usually if I've got an event. I did not wear powder today and I probably should have, but there we go. And then the very last thing that I'm going to mention is the MAC Fix Plus, because at the end of my makeup I will use this, or I need to refresh, or I need to blend something in better. Always this product. It feels like such a classic, such a basic, but that's what I love. So that brings us to the end of the video. It took us a while to get here, but I feel like, yeah, there was a lot of products I really enjoyed this year. If there were any that you liked and tried, let me know, or any, you know, that I didn't necessarily mention that you really enjoyed this year. I'm so intrigued. Any questions, comments, let me know. If there's anything you want me to do more in depth, because I was trying to like say bits about the product, but I didn't want to say too much. I'm definitely going to be coming with more beauty videos going into 2024 and just experimenting more with makeup. I mean, I feel like I'm probably going to use a lot of the same products, but I will try and be more experimental. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you all in a new video soon. Bye.